Welcome to High Ground. My name is Tanner, and in this video, I'm going to be doing predictions for the final play day number 9 of the NAL Stage number 2, 2022 season. Okay, right, final play day number 9, the big one, and it is especially big compared to pretty much every other final play day we've ever seen. There is so much left to be decided. Last time around, we saw a win-in between Dark Zero and Space Station. Of course, that went Dark Zero's way. And this time around, we see a lot of games that aren't necessarily win-ins, but every game has so much to it that they're similar to win-ins, I guess. For some teams, they need to just straight up win and they make it, but it's not true for their opponent. And in some cases, they need to get the full 3 points. Some cases, they need the full 3 points, and also they need other teams to do certain things. So let's go down the line. First game of the day, TSM versus Beast Coast. And well, I guess really quickly, let me go over the previous day's games. And another pretty bad one for me. So, right, Astralis did beat Beast Coast, and they almost didn't. If Beast Coast had just closed out the game when they're up 6-3, 6-4, 6-5, then I would have got all 5 wrong, which is tough. But I did get this one right. Okay, and then Dark Zero took down Xset. Everyone after this I got wrong. Space Station took down Oxygen. Parabellum beat TSM, and Mirage beat Sonic. So a pretty surprising day. The Oxygen versus Space Station game, maybe not the biggest shock in hindsight. Space Station was playing for far more. They generally have a pretty good record against Oxygen, but still Oxygen had been so good. Space Station had been pretty poor that it seemed like Oxygen should have won. Of course, you don't really expect Mirage to beat many teams, especially Sonic's, so a big shocker there. That is Mirage's second win, but I don't think it's any much less surprising as a result. Parabellum beating TSM, especially so decisively, I did think it was a little bit of a surprise, but again, just the victory by itself I don't think was the super surprising part. It was the scoreline, 7-3. And yeah, Dark Zero over Xset. That one could have gone either way. I just thought Xset, but no, it turns out to be Dark Zero, keeping things so competitive, putting Dark Zero and Xset both onto 12 points. I suppose keeping Xset on 12 points. This puts Space Station onto 12, TSM onto 12, or keeping them on 12. And then we have some 13s, we have a 14, and okay, everything to be decided. Now back to day number 9. Beast Coast versus TSM. So last stage, Beast Coast beat TSM just like almost everybody did. It was a 7-2 on Skyscraper, I think. And, you know, very dominant scoreline. But again, TSM was getting absolutely pummeled by most teams last stage. They only beat Xset and Parabellum. The Xset game was in the first week when Xset was still a little bit shaky, so that might have even been a little bit lucky to play them then. And then Parabellum was bold enough to take them to Chalet, and TSM very good on Chalet. They also played Sonics on Chalet, but they didn't beat them there because I guess Sonics is just like the best team on Chalet. What are you going to do? I guess not take them to Chalet. And so who do I think is going to win here? Yeah, Beast Coast is playing to potentially make it up to 5th place, but they can't make it to the major, can't make it above 5th place. And yeah, I don't know, you just want more points. And of course, if they do lose this game in regulation, I guess that secures them 9th place. And I think it's no SI points. Don't you have to get, I think you have to get at least 8th. So they'd certainly like to get some SI points. If they can get some here, they got 6th place last stage, so some SI points. Maybe they could still go to SI if they get a really good placement next stage. So they're definitely looking for that. And well, TSM, they get the full 3 points. They have a chance to go, but it's only about a 40% chance. It's really contingent on other things happening in the other games. Still pretty unlikely, but you know, if they still have a reasonable chance to make the major, I think they're going to be playing for it. I think they're probably going to be kind of dejected. They're going to be somewhat assuming they're not going to make it. But with only one game, with a full week to prepare for it, with still quite a lot on the line potentially, I guess I'm going to go with TSM. I kind of wanted to pick Beast Coast, but and this might maybe I should because my predictions have been just so bad. I might as well just go with whatever. But I'll go with TSM here. They are still playing with the major on the line. Okay, and also TSM. Yeah, they had a really bad stage last stage, ending up in 9th place, and they might end up in 9th place again if Beast Coast beats them in regulation. Then yeah, doesn't TSM just end up in 9th place? So that's super sad considering how good of a start they got off to this stage. Okay, Parabellum versus Sonic. So this one is a straight up win and in. The loser can still go, especially if Parabellum loses in overtime. They still have a very good chance to go to the major. And so I guess Astralis versus Space Station might end up being a win and in, but at the time, at this point in time, it's not 100% that SSG will go even if they win. So certain things are going to happen for that to be a win and in. So I guess that makes that the only straight up winning in that we have at the moment. Okay, so Parabellum on 14 points, Sonics on 13 points. Sonics are 4-4 overall if you just ignore overtime, and Parabellum are 5-3. So pretty impressive overall from, I guess, both teams, two of the better performing teams. And Sonics had maybe just a few struggles early on. They were just one round away from beating Astralis. They were one round away from beating Xset, and that was more in the middle of the stage, right over here. And okay, so who do I think is going to win this? I'm really inclined to say Sonics, and I think I probably will. And honestly, at this point, I probably am just going to go with the results I kind of want to happen, because my predictions are just meaningless at this point. Even if I got all 5 right, I get less than 50%, so it's just so sad. I thought I was going to come back. I had the 5 out of 5 day, and then I got this one right, and so I thought maybe I'd get a few more right on day 8, and then I could get a bunch right on day 9, and I'd get back above 50%. But alas, it's not going to happen. Best I can get is 22 out of 45. Pretty dreadful. A bit fraudulent, but maybe I'll bounce back next stage. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to go with Sonics here. I think Parabellum have every chance in the world to win. There is a reason they have more points than the Sonics, and they've been kind of cutting it close. Parabellum a little bit inconsistent in that, yes, they do have some impressive showings, but they also have some sort of tough losses. The win over TSM is really solid, but like on the other hand, they have the pretty devastating loss that they took to Dark Zero to really slow down their momentum. They were pretty hot at the beginning, slowed down a little bit, and now they're pretty hot again, sitting at second place. But I'm going to go with Sonics. I think the experience hopefully will shine through, and I think some of the stuff I'm doing here is maybe going to go against my power ranking. But again, I'm going with what I want to happen. And I did put Sonics below Parabellum on the power ranking, mostly off the back of the fact that Sonics sort of choked against Mirage. And I said in that video, if they are going to lose to Mirage because of pressure, Mirage having no pressure, Sonics having a lot of pressure, in that if they just won that game they would qualify, then might they also choke versus Parabellum. And I suppose if you're just looking at differing amounts of pressure, Parabellum also has a lot of pressure on them, as I'll keep saying, because they pretty much, they want to win and need to get at least 1 point on the board to be realistic to go. And so maybe Sonics can take advantage of that. Maybe they learn their lesson. I'm going to go with Sonics again, maybe even if it contradicts my power rankings a little bit. Okay, Dark Zero versus Mirage. Yeah, obviously I'm going to go with Dark Zero here. Mirage could make their third upset of the stage, and they've been doing them recently. I guess 2 of their last 3 games that they won, they beat Beast Coast, and then they got crushed by Parabellum, and then they beat Sonics. And now, once again, they are playing with no pressure. They can't make it out of 10th place or anything. And Dark Zero can still make it to the major. If they get the full 3 points, they're fairly reasonable. They do need to prey on the downfall of 1 or 2 other teams. But again, if they make it, because they have a better round differential already than Space Station and TSM, if they beat Mirage, especially by a good scoreline, then they have a pretty good shot at going. So I don't think Dark Zero is going to let that slip away. I think they really, really, really want to make it to another major to have a chance to defend their title. So I guess I'm going to go with them. But if Mirage wins, maybe that'll put a little bit of smile on my face. Nightmare Nick's taking down his old team from way back when. Okay, Oxygen versus Xset. So this is a really big one. Oxygen is playing to lock in first, but they're already going to the majors, so not terribly significant for them. Xset, if they get the full 3 points, they go to the major. If they get 2 points, I think they're not that likely to go to the major, so they really want the full 3. Like Astralis, on the other hand, they're 1 point above them, and so if they get a win, if they get the full 3 points, they go. If they get 2 points, they're very likely to go. But okay, Xset is definitely the team that is probably the team that's being preyed on for their downfall the most. And Space Station and Dark Zero and TSM all want them to do badly. If they get the full 3 points, then that just really, really, really hurts the chances of those other 3 teams. And they have to go against Oxygen. And so 2 of the members on Xset, of course, Kino and Yaga, were on Oxygen not too long ago. So there's a little bit of maybe like beef there, but maybe not like actual beef, maybe just like competitive sort of beef. And I think Oxygen, or at least Foxay or whatever, has said that he does want to put in his all and try to, beat them, and so as to deny them going to the major. And again, maybe probably more in a competitive spirit than a spiteful one. I guess I'm going to go with Oxygen there, and part of that is because, Oxygen obviously been a lot better. They've now finally suffered another loss that puts them on, they're still like 6-2, whereas Xset's like 4-4 or something like that, I think. And Oxygen has been way better. They are playing for less against, again, Xset, the full 3 points they get to go to the major. Oxygen, if they get, I think 2 points, are locked into first place, which is still something you want. You want the better seeding and the glory and whatnot. They did get denied first place last stage. They got beaten out by Astralis in that regard. And yeah, so I guess I'm going to go with auction again, lining up so that maybe it's more likely for some of the teams that I enjoy the most to go to the major. So I'm going to go with that. And then finally, we have Astralis versus Space Station. And yeah, this might end up being as hype as it looked like it could have been when we first saw the schedule. So this slot last stage was TSM versus Sonics. Looks like it could have been a really good game. Turns out they were playing for like 7th or 8th place, which was not very exciting. But on the very last day in, I don't know, it was like this spot or something, it was Space Station versus Dark Zero for the major. Just winner goes, loser doesn't go. Didn't matter overtime or anything, and Dark Zero took it. So there was a very exciting game on the last day, and that might be this one, but they're all honestly pretty exciting. I think probably the two most are probably Parabellum versus Sonics and Astralis versus Space Station, because they are both teams that are still playing for something. In every other match, there's a team that's already locked in or locked out of the major. And okay, so I think Astralis are the favorites here. Maybe not super massively so, but maybe in some people's eyes. They're on 13 points to Space Station's 12. Space Station coming off this very impressive Oxygen win, and Astralis, I guess, coming off a very narrow win over Beast Coast. Impressive in the comeback that they made. Last stage when these two teams played, it was a 7-5 victory for Astralis on Border, and that was a stage where Space Station wasn't especially good, but I guess they just barely missed out on the major, and Astralis was incredible, being the best team in the league by a decent amount in terms of points and whatnot. And, you know, I'm going to go Space Station. They're the underdogs here, but they are who I want to be rooting for. Again, at this point in the day, it's possible that Space Station won't be able to go. It's pretty likely, though, that Space Station will be playing to where if they get the full 3 points, they will go. And if Astralis gets 3 or 2 points, they will go. And okay, so those are going to be my predictions. Maybe some of them are a little bit based on sentiment. Maybe some of them, I don't care about making the quote-unquote proper prediction because my prediction rate is so bad and I've been betrayed too many times by making the proper prediction this stage. Okay, so I'll go down the line one more time. Let's recap. I have TSM over Beast Coast, Sonics over Parabellum, Dark Zero over Mirage, Oxygen over Xset, and Space Station over Astralis. So fingers crossed I can get, I don't know, I guess at least 3 of them, so I can get 20 out of 45, which is still bad, but you know, maybe it's a prettier number than otherwise. And I guess this would also line up a fairly optimal major for me. If I'm being honest, I think the teams that I would least like to see go to the major, just based on personal factors, are like Dark Zero and TSM. Nothing against them really. I just sort of like the other teams better. Sonics and SSG and Xset and Parabellum. I don't know. I guess I like them. I guess I like them a little bit better. I don't really dislike any team in the NAL, but just prefer some teams over the others, right? And okay, so I guess that's going to do it. This is already getting kind of long, so if you have any comments, leave them below. A like on the video is appreciated. A subscription to the channel also appreciated. And so with all of that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.